welcome back to another special AB Weekly Recap. No, we're not Weekly Recap anymore. We're simply on the great AB Nation of Summer 2024. And of course, Marco Larabi from Hawkesbury is going to join me talking about the Montreal Canadiens. We have a couple of news and other things what happening. So, Marco, thanks for joining me live on the great Tuesday night, May 21st, one day before the round number three start in the NHL playoff. We'll talk about a little bit the preview of the both series until the end of the show. So let's move on all the way. But before that, Mr. Marco, tell us what's going on.
Not too much, Coach. Excited. Hey, everyone. Nice to see everybody on a Tuesday evening. Lots of great hockey today, Coach, on the international front. I'm sure we'll get into that today, but watching a little bit in the background as I was working. So lots of interesting performances today. Really excited about the second round. I don't know about you, Coach, but what do you think of the playoffs this year? Did you find them a little the first round? I think we all agree was a little underwhelming. I think it was better in the second round, but only 2 7-game series in all the playoffs, right? So a little less, competitive than maybe we would like, but maybe the third round is going to be the best one so far, I think.
Yeah, absolutely about that. I think one thing also is last year you have a lot of blowout. Like it was like 6-1, 7-2, everything. And then the second round this year was very good about the goal differential Vancouver until game number 6, 7. And game 7 also was one goal. The 6 of the 7 game between others by one goal differential.
Yeah, I think on the surface, like I said, you don't have a lot of tight series, but a lot of the games were tight, right? You look at that Carolina Rangers series, and Carolina's down 3-0, but all the games could have went either way, right? So in a way, it's kind of misleading, but I just love game sevens, right? So it'd be nice. Hopefully, this next round, we don't have a dog in the fight, right? So sometimes my wife will be watching the game with me, and she's like, "Who are you rooting for?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know who I'm rooting for. It depends on the game. There could be one game where I'm rooting for one team, and then the next game, I halfway through the game, I'll be like, oh, and then she starts to see me reacting differently. She's like, I thought you were going for that team. I'm like, I don't know. I just, at this time of year, when your team is not in the playoffs, you just want good hockey, right? So I think for the most part, we're getting pretty good hockey, but the third round will be even more fun, hopefully.
I agree with you. Before we welcome everybody, we're going to go to the subject of the night. And we want to talk about AB Want A Big top 6 forward. You have a couple of rumors around the Montreal Canadiens. Some people maybe consider them like an expert. And they talk about Montreal maybe go a big splash trade. We're going to talk about what kind of player they can get or maybe looking for. We're going to talk about a couple of news around the World Championship. Some players participate in Montreal Canadiens. Then, if you follow my ad daily news, I make a video today is about the draft 2024. We know the order, Marco, of all the pick for the Montreal Canadiens until the last one. Marco Sapé, here we go. Until the last one, the Edmonton 7th round, it could be 222 or it could be 224 at the end or 225, but that would be the only option. The Montreal Canadiens 12th round pick they have for the NHL draft 2024. Fifth, they have 26 now, 57, 70, 78, and then you have to go all the way to 16, 132, and then go 178. It can go all the way like that. So the video is about the first 5. I put some kind of name could be at that selection. It's really hard. We still have 1 month before, honestly, the NHL draft. Some expert can modify players on the top 64 example, but I think pretty good to hear some name around the 26 and some name around the 57 for the Montreal Canadiens pick they're going to get at the 2024 draft.
Yeah, Coach, that was a great video. You did a good deep dive on many options that Montreal. So if you haven't watched that Coach's video earlier today, definitely go check that out and leave your comments as to kind of who you think Montreal will pick. Obviously, we're really focused on the first round, But guys, there's a lot of good hockey players later in the other rounds. Coach that you pointed out that I really liked at the U18 was Plante. Really, really good energy player. Really, really smart. So if Montreal could kind of target a guy like that later, maybe in the second round, I don't think who is the other guy from the U18s that you pointed out for a second round? I can't remember his name, but I'm not sure he's going to be there. But I really like Plount. Who is the other guy that you had in the second round? Trying to remember. The guy that was in the under 18s as well from the US. Trying to remember his name, but I'm not sure he's going to be there because there's rumors that he might be moving up quite a bit. But I think Plount might be somebody that's available in that round. So
Yeah,
that'd be a good pick.
It looked like. So let's see what we got here. 1-2, 1-2. I don't think so. They get it. My mic here. Is it possible? Let me check. I feel like people in the chat.
You sound good to me, but it's hard to tell.
Let's see. I think right now I use the mic of right now here. And now I get that one home maybe. Oh, is it better now? Oh yeah, I'm sure it is better. Can someone tell me something here?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
Yeah.
So somebody just pointed out in the chat it was Stiga. Leon was the one that was talking about that.
Yeah, I apologize. So
that was the other guy that you.
What happening? We clean up my my office, and we said to you, and she touched my keyboard, and she dropped my one of my sound down, so I can see that. Now I just pick it up there. So thanks anyway. Now I'm going to be fine, Marco. So that's over. Just kidding. Let's go for what we got, guys. We have a lot of people in the chat. We're going to go very quickly. Welcome everybody. Julian Wiseman Vizina back in the house, Mr. Marco. Julian been here for a long time. We not see him. Welcome back. Luciano is in the house. Larry Lavallée and Artap AK is there. Patrick White, welcome back. Randy Walkman, hopefully doing well. Randy, I'm going to email you. We try to make a night with you and everybody else to talk with Hockey Nation. Roy is in the house. AK, like I mentioned, For You is in the house. We have Luciano in the house. Patrick White, Larry Lavallée. And if I miss someone, I apologize. But Claude Richard is in the house. Enartap is in the house. Gogol is in the house. Nicolas de Gobi Bono is in the house. Thanks for all the like we got so far. We appreciate a lot of what we got at this moment. RJ Calabro knocked the door. Luciano also. I think Montreal should consider going for Emile Vinny with the second or the third round pick. I think it has solid plus. I think Leon mentioned one specific name. Stiga. I think it was Stiga. That pick was number 57. That's what he said in the second round. I apologize. Yeah, you have Stiga, yeah. Max Plant, and then you have, I think, is it Bernie Key, the defenseman? No, yeah. It was the captain of the team Latvia U18 at the World Championship. I'm going to screw his name. Emojgi or whatever his last name is. A big center, 6'5", I believe, and he's at the top area right there. So we'll be interested what the Montreal going to do on that. But I think it was a good video about a little bit name people. I think the number 26 round, if they don't trade, they have a couple of great players. They can become a good players in NHL. Like I said, it's hard to get a top 26, 26 as the top 6, but the bottom 6 could be that way. This is Fire, our coach. Okay, thanks, Luciano. Gary is back in the house. Gary, welcome back, Gary. There we go. We'll be lit. I'm going to fix this right now. Franco Yakono is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Franco, welcome back. Thanks to be with our Canadian show. We appreciate a lot. And so we're going to get that way over there. Go back over there. There we go. Would be great series with Dallas how to pick up Max Plant. That sounds like a hab already. Abs about this, and then I book Marco the son of the Sako Kuivo. Hatus.
Yeah.
Hatus.
Yeah, I don't remember his first name, but yeah, like he's going to be right in that range, coach. And wouldn't that be an amazing story? Like, I think that would be great. Like, why not take a flyer on a guy like that? Like, Montreal has so many picks. And speaking of those picks, coach, like, do you think it will be a strategy for Montreal to obviously try to maybe move some of those picks to maybe future years? Because they've had so many picks over the last couple of years. So
Yeah, so
obviously,
something they
we
could do,
hope that
Marco. I
Ken Hughes
think
is
if
going to
you
be
look about,
busy.
I'm sorry I cut you. They have like two pick 70 and 78, very close. You have two pick at the
Yeah.
beginning of the fifth round, if I can recall it, 110, 130, whatever it is, and they have three picks or two over the picks at the seventh round. What I'm talking about is they mix both together and they go from maybe from 70 to maybe drive to 57, maybe to go to 51, and then break two picks for one. Does it make sense?
It makes sense, but another strategy too is you can just trade them for picks in future years, right? Because they've already picked so much in the last 3-4 years that I wouldn't be against them punting some of the picks for 2027. Like if you have like those two picks, go get like a fourth round
Oh
pick,
yeah, yeah, yeah. They can
in
move
2
on to a
years
little
from
bit
now or something.
another year or 2 years forward to get that pick. Yeah, that's another way they can do that. I agree, absolutely
Yeah.
agree with you for that one over there. Then you have some people talk about this. So we're going to answer to your question the next couple of minutes. We just want to go back on the subject about this. I think honestly also should maybe go for Evie Yahoo later. I think is a defenseman maybe or forward. I wish we have two selection and enter the top 10 picks, Gary. That would be something they can go about this. We're going to talk about the preview of the third round in the next 15, 20 minutes about this. Randy talk about Linus Eriksson, maybe available center at great speed. It should be on the third, second round. It could be that area, Eriksson. I think it was at the beginning of the third per Randy, but I think you're sorry about this. First of all, Marco, before we go there, we're going to talk about the World Championship very quickly. The first round is over, and now we know the Canada going to play against Slovakia, and the Team USA is not easy. I believe they play Finland. It will be May 23rd. If you follow the World Championship, we have 5 strong players from Montreal Canadiens participate at that tournament. Caulfield, Sarkowski, Cooley, Kapanen, and Rohrer. We're not going to talk about every one of them, but maybe an overview for about 2-3 minutes about the World Championship. Caulfield, 4 points yesterday of the W of the Team USA. Team Canada won yesterday also in overtime. It was a really good game to see that. And we're going to talk about one of the specific players a little bit later. It was played against Team Canada yesterday. But a little bit an overview of what you saw for the World Championship. And I think for me, one thing before you start, Marco, this is really the first year I'm really into the World Championship. I don't know because you have more game on the TV and the people, players, Montreal are more involved, but I'm really more involved this year like I've never been in the last couple of years.
Well, I love that tournament, coach. Like, especially because I'm a big Pierre Hood fan, right? So since RDS doesn't have the rights to do the playoff games, you have Pierre Hood and Marc Denis that cover the World Championships. So I've always been a fan. Like I always usually watch it. But quick overview from a Habs perspective. Like you mentioned, Caulfield had a really big day today against. He had 4 points, 2 goals. Really nice goal, especially the one that I liked. There was one. They're playing him in the bumper spot on the power play, which is a little bit different. It seems like whenever he plays for Team USA, they don't put him in the left circle like he gets used in Montreal. They like to use him in the bumper position. So he had one nice, like a one-timer in the bumper position. But then the goal that I really liked about Caulfield is the one where he was with Shane Pinto and Kachuk, and they cycled the puck. And then you see Caulfield kind of come out from behind the net and get a pretty clear shot, really nice shot. But I think what I really noticed from today's games, coach, was Slavkovsky. So overall, I think he's had a pretty good tournament. In terms of in terms of leadership and in terms of passion, I really like what I'm seeing from him. I would like to see him shoot the puck more. It's something that I know the coaching staff in Montreal was on him for most of the season, but I think it's gotten much worse at the World Championships. Like there's so many times where he's passing up shots to dish to his teammates and everything. And if you guys remember, like from the beginning, I kind of understood that Slavkovsky, he wasn't primarily going to be a big goal scorer. I think he was going to have more assists than he does goals, but he does have an amazing shot, and we would like to see him shoot a lot more. It was a tough game for Slovakia today. Like Pospisil got injured towards the end of the game. So I feel like Slavkovsky's had some really nice moments at the World Championships. Just some of his teammates are just not finishing kind of what he's setting up. But to me, what I like is the leadership that he's showing on that team. Like he's a pretty young guy, right? He just turned 20, but you can see the team, his teammates definitely are starting to look at him as a bit of a leader, right? And you can see him, he's standing up on the bench. Like I love his body language on the bench. He's very passionate about playing for his country. So it's good to see. Obviously, the results aren't there from a production perspective for him. But Slovakia doesn't really have too much of a deep lineup either. But again, like, so I think overall good tournaments for Slavkovsky so far, but man, I would like him to shoot a lot more. So today, Kapanen, he's had a good tournament as well too. And, at times I feel like, he's not playing on the power play. They're not starting him in overtime in some occasions. Obviously, there's some veteran guys on that Finland team. But today, when they were trailing Switzerland, they started playing him with Granlund towards the end of the third period, and he was quite good, winning big faceoffs, winning a lot of board battles. So I really like Kapanen's tournament so far. I haven't seen too much of Rohr. Like I watched a little bit of Austria's games, but he's playing a little bit further down the lineup, so I don't think he's had too much of an impact on that team so far.
On the flip
And
side, I would say
Gulli,
you have a good year.
Gulli's had a good
Yeah,
tournament
the
for sure, playing with Severson.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, for sure he did. So I wouldn't throw the towel on Rohr. Like I think he's got he's got some skills, right? And he's a pretty he's got a good motor, and he definitely works hard. Obviously, he's a very, very small guy. So our pipeline does have similar players there. You've already got, guys like Farrell there, so I don't know how much of a chance he's going to have in Montreal to kind of, I don't think he's even signed his ELC, right? So coach, this is what I'm saying, right? Like at some point, there's just too many picks over the last 3-4 years, and you're going to have some pretty decent players that Montreal is just going to have to make a decision on, and maybe not even end up signing them, right? So at some point, my wish list, obviously for the draft, and I'm sure we'll get into this, is I would love for them to package some picks, like you said, and move up. But I would be shocked and very disappointed if they use even 80% of their picks. I think that would be too many picks based on all the picks that they've already had. Can you think of times where they traded picks over the last 3 years? Like they've almost made all their picks. It's too many, man. That's at some point you're going to start losing these players. You're not going to be able to sign them.
Well, I
And
think,
Rohr is a perfect
yeah,
example
but
of that. I
you
think.
think about this, Marco. I think, like example, like they could right now trade for a specific player to add Vincent Rower and the package deal. They can maybe add Owen Beck and the package deal for a specific player and the NHL. So it's a lot, but at the same time, it's asset to trade at some point. So I don't see like a disadvantage, and they need players to be a Laval also. They need to have a players go around. They have a and sometimes you need home run, right? They maybe hit the home run with Adam Ekstrom. They maybe hit the home run with Philip Eriksson. I know we talk about him, Eriksson. This is another plus, guys. Play a good year overall. He starts slowly and he's getting bigger. But again, they are, Marco, most of them are barely going to be in NHL or maybe make NHL or they may never make the NHL. So it's not like until they don't have no problem with the contract number, it's okay at that point. And sometimes they do a very good job, Marco, to sign only a one way with the Laval Rocket. I think you have three players like that, like Simono is one of them, and then they don't have the entry level with the Montreal Canadiens. It's more about the European players, but most of them are get late in the NHL draft so far. Talking about NHL draft, guys, we do the mock draft by Enarta and Marco. We'll try to put this out today, tomorrow morning. If not, it'll be the next day. It's a little bit longer. It's 40 minutes, guys. But Randy Walkman, be aware of that video because I think you will be shocked about that. So just watch the video and give us a comments, Randy, after that.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for Randy to watch our mock draft for sure.
So happening. So the World Championship is over, guys. Again, watch the quarterfinals start in the next 2 days, May 23rd. Now we talk about the subject of the night. Montreal Canadiens won a top six forward. This is a rumor starting by someone maybe last week and amplified a little bit more the last 2 days. I think also Pierre Maguire had more Jews inside of that first one. I think the first time he came for the 4 period podcast by David. David.
Agnata.
There we go.
Yeah.
So put this together. That's the reason we talk about this. And we have the question of the day. The poll is going to be out the next 5 minutes, guys. You can look. This is a question also. Is it possible Montreal hit the home run for during summer? And if not, and I would like to hear from you, Marco, a little bit more, go a little bit more deeper about that. The people in the chat, you can ask a question. You can, no, you should not, or yes, they should do. What kind of blood they can targeting, and the age, everything like that. So Marco is going to let you know, talking about this first.
Yeah, well, I think you're seeing a lot of signals out there, Coach. Like, going as far back as the exit press conference that Kent Hughes had at the end of the year, where he said that he would like to see the team take a step. You had, Elliot Friedman reporting a couple times on his 32 Thoughts blog. And if you follow him, he talks about it quite a bit, that he thinks Montreal is really going to go big game hunting, I think is the words that he used. And kind of the same thing, Pierre Maguire on the I Test podcast just a couple of days ago, same thing, right? A lot of people that are connected are getting that feeling that Kent Hughes is really going to go out there and there's never any guarantee, Coach. Like we talked about in our summer targets videos, like it's not easy to consummate these trades, right? Like it's very complex. There's a lot of moving parts, but it's there's no question. There's too many reports out there signaling that Montreal is looking to be very, very active heading up to the draft in terms of a trade, right? So what does that mean? Like, now most people are going to, because again, what is the best predictor of the future is the past, right? So Ken Hughes in the last couple of years has gotten us used to going out and trading picks to acquire, I guess you can call them projects, or underperforming young players from the 2019 or 2018 draft with Kirby Doc and with Alex Newhook, right? So most people kind of assume that, hey, this is what Ken Hughes and Jeff Gordon are doing. They understand the logic and the strategy behind it. You want to accelerate your rebuild by going out and instead of using that draft pick, if you can get a guy that's a couple of years older, a little bit closer to the NHL that can kind of jump in and help the team right away, then that's a good move. So so most people, most observers, and I think, we've been talking about it for months here, along with everybody else in the chat. The question is, okay, so who is the new Alex Newhook? Who is the new Kirby Dach? So, Coach, you look at the list of restricted free agents that are coming up this summer, and you look at teams that either might have a tough time against the cap, or maybe that player is just not performing well in their environment. And these are not strange players, right? We've talked about them. So you've got your Dawson Mercers in New Jersey, you've got your Cole Perfetti, which for whatever reason Winnipeg scratched during the playoffs. Didn't really see a lot of ice time during the playoffs, right? So you can be sure that a lot of GMs are calling Kevin Cheveldayoff off and wondering what's going on with that guy, right? You've got Capo Caco. I'm just going through, cap friendly and looking at the list of RFAs here, right? So, Casey Middlestat, that would be amazing, but obviously Colorado just traded for him. So not really too much chance that they're going to be not re-signing him. And then, of course, the big name that's floating around, and really kind of what's been heating up over the last couple of days is Martin Necas, right? Martin Necas is the big name out there. I think everybody kind of has heard those discussions so far. Now the question, and we've talked about this a couple times, Coach, is Montreal an ideal trade partner necessarily for Carolina? I know that your position is that Carolina is going to be looking more for a forward for somebody like Martin Necas. I think Enertap and I more align with the idea that they've already confirmed that they're not going to be re-signing Brett Pesce, right? I doubt that they're going to bring back D'Angelo, and I'm not sure they're going to be able to bring back Brady Shea either. So that's at minimum. And there's also Chatfield that is also a free agent, right? So you got potentially 3 or 4 of their top 6 defensemen, Coach, that are leaving. And if they're going to be allocating money to Gensel or to Jarvis, to me, Gensel and Jarvis are probably going to be their 2 top priorities up front. But then after that, you have to almost rebuild your back end, Coach. So in that sense, I think Montreal is a good trading partner, but it depends. Like if Brady Shea does come back, maybe they'll find a different solution. The other big need that Carolina has is goaltending, right? So Martin Necas is definitely a piece that could definitely get you a solid starter in the NHL, maybe a number 1 goaltender. So, you have names like Markstrom. You have names like maybe UC Saros that might be out there in Nashville. Lots of interesting activity in Nashville today, right? With Barry Trotz creating some cap space and trading Ryan McDonough back to Tampa Bay. What's Barry Trotz up to, Coach? So lots of moving pieces. I know Necas is definitely at the top of mind for most people, but you know what, Coach? I wouldn't be surprised if any of the names that I just mentioned, it's going to be none of those names. It could be a player that we never mentioned, right? So it's going to be interesting for sure. I think there's one thing that's clear is that Kent Hughes wants to improve the team by adding a top 6 piece, and that's exciting news. Um, the question is how how will the Habs fan base react when they see what Kent Hughes has to give up? Because, Coach, in the comments of our videos, if we happen to mention certain names, and not just on our channel, right, but all over Twitter, you can see people are very, very attached to the prospects that Montreal have, right? But guys, we say this all the time. In order to receive, you must give. So, if you want Montreal to go ahead and get that top 6 forward, there's going to be a piece that you like that's going to be going the other way. I don't know, Coach, what do you think?
Answer the chat, man. Someone talk about Farabee. I don't know if he mentions his name.
I didn't mention his name, but yeah, he's had a very good World Championship with the US for sure.
He
That'd
has
be
a
an interesting fit. Um, yeah, he's
go
not
ahead.
the biggest guy, right? But he definitely has a good motor. He plays, like Farabee is not a big guy, but he plays fast. He has a good motor. He's good work ethic. He's intense, like he's an intense player, and he wins his like share of board battles, right? But he's not the biggest guy. But I just I'm not sure it's the best fit for the top six, right? Because maybe eventually Newhook does drop to the third line, but conceivably next year here, it looks like Newhook is going to maybe be in your top six. So that makes for an awfully small second line, right? Doc, Newhook, and Farabee. So I was hoping they'd maybe get somebody a little bit bigger, but there's no question that Farabee would be a huge upgrade on what Montreal has now in terms of somebody at least in their top nine, right? What do you think Philadelphia would be looking for Farabee? Like, I don't why would Philadelphia even move Farabee? Why would they be in a hurry to move that guy?
I'm not sure. He's 24 years old. He's $5 million per year for him, but another 4 years. Um, I think I would not trade him. He's on the like I would not trade for them like Owen Tippett also. It's a bold player, 24, 25 years old, definitely. But I think or I want to change the subject quickly. I think Montreal should looking about what they did with Fiala. Remember, like Fiala was stuck in the salary cap problem with the Minnesota Wild and before they buy the buyout, everything like that. They have to ship Fiala
Yeah,
to the Kings. And I think the King got Faber. Is it right?
yeah, that's exactly right.
Um,
Yeah,
for the first one pick 2022 at Brock Faber.
Brock.
So
Yeah,
my
that was a
point
great move
behind
for
that,
both teams.
Marco, is this is where the Montreal Canadiens have to figure out some point to make a splash like that. Now, example, I don't know a specific defenseman, but for the Montreal Canadiens, we're not talking about Harris, Trouble, or Kovacevic, or maybe I missed one. It's more about Jacky, Mayu, Rebecca, Hudson, and Cody. This is one of the five over there. I think if they want to attract a player like Martin Nekash, and then you add a Winnipeg Jet with that pick could be an example like Kevin Fiala. If you look about Fiala and NHL before the trade, he was with Nashville before that. But Nashville, he played only 2 good seasons, 23 gold, and then at Minnesota, 23, 20, 33 before he got traded. Then he got 23 at 29. This is the kind of number, approximately what Nick Cash does right now with the Carolina, about 23, 24 years old. And at some point at that age, um, they have the same number of the goal also. So this is the kind of player, if Montreal want to get that kind of players like Martin, they have to pay the price come with.
Yeah, there's no question. Like, coach, I would be shocked if listen, if it's an offer they can't refuse, I don't think any of those defensemen are untouchable, other than Hudson, just because they really, really don't have another player like that um, in their organization, right? Like, um, in terms of being able to run their power play in the future. So even again, I don't think he's untouchable, but I think it would take a lot to move him, unless they draft his brother, in the first round. That would be interesting. But I would be shocked though if they end up moving a right-handed defenseman. Right? There's just not enough depth there. Um, Again, nothing's impossible, but to me, it would be a mistake to move anything on the right side of that decor just because of the lack of depth that you have there. You just have so many left-handed defensemen, right? So I'm looking at the list of RFAs, and again, there's riskier plays, right? Like where there's going to be lower cost. Like all year I've talked about Kaliev, right? Like I'm sure that you could get him for a song. It wouldn't be very expensive to. So you can go out and you can take like a risk with a player like that, and maybe that's a player that you can get for a Jordan Harris. Like somebody who is not proven, like a Wallstrom. A player like that, like somebody who has that's maybe a bit more of a project, but that still has some potential. You have then you have in the category of teams that are going to be struggling with the cap. So I look at a team like Vegas. They have Pavel Dorofeyev. He's also a restricted free agent. Had a decent year, 47 games, 13 goals. Nice little player there. Is Vegas going to be able to keep a guy like that? As an RFA, so it really depends what you want to do. I think remember, coach, we talked about the draft, right? And how general managers go into a draft and they have all kinds of plans and then backup plans if that plan doesn't work, and then you have another alternate plan if that one doesn't work. I think there's probably plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E, all the way down, right? So you have players that they're going to target, and they have certain prices that they're willing to pay for certain categories of players. So maybe a Martin Hs, you're willing to pay a lot more because you think it's a lot more probable that they're going to have a strong impact in your top six right away, right? But if you're targeting like a Kaliev or somebody who's a little bit more of a risk, then maybe you're kind of not having to sacrifice the quality of asset that you need to do. And there's a potential upside to, if you think that player can come in and have a good impact on your team because of a different environment or things like that, right? So I don't think Montreal is in a position where they can't take a risk on a player like that, because yes, we want Montreal to be competitive next year and we expect them to take a step, but there's not really an expectation that they absolutely must. Like, they're not the Ottawa Senators of this summer, right? Like, I don't think anybody is going to say it was a failure if they don't make the playoffs next year. So to me, it's okay to take a risk if you think, if you do your homework and you have a lot of faith in the player that you're going to take a risk on. If you think your environment is going to be better, but it all comes down to character, right? So we've heard interesting things about Kaliev. Things that when I first brought up Kaliev, I didn't know these things about his character a little bit. So I would be shocked if they brought Kaliev to Montreal, because apparently he's a bit of a interesting character with his teammates and everything as well, and his some of his work habits. So they'll do their homework, and if they see that there's an opportunity to bring in somebody like that, but I don't. So to answer your question, Coach, I don't see a Kevin Fiala like home run guy as an RFA this year, because that's what Fiala was, right? Like, he was a restricted free agent. Minnesota knew that with all the cap trouble that they were in, that there was no way that they were going to be able to afford to keep him, so they moved him to LA, right? So again, looking on cap friendly, I'm looking at some of the UFAs that are there. There's some interesting opportunities there, but a lot of them are with teams that are going to be perfectly fine to sign them, right? Like, I'm looking at Quentin Byfield, Marchenko, Lucas Raymond, Seth Jarvis, even Eli Tolvanen, Matthew Beniers. These are all players that their teams are not ready to move away from, right? And they're not in a situation where they're going to be stuck against the cap. So, you know what I mean? Like, but do you see a Kevin Fiala type situation that I'm missing?
So again,
Like, do you see a Kevin Fiala type opportunity that I'm not seeing, where a team
no, I think you
is
nailed it.
has a
I
RFA
think
that
you
they're not going to be
really
able to
about.
sign?
I think you nail it about most of the club. We talk about RFA, and we're targeting guys club between 24 to 26 years old. It's not like a trade for like Kirby Doc or Alex Newhook, 20 years old, 21 years old, 22 years old, been in the NHL for 2 years or maybe 3 years max, and they have some kind of not the TOI, and the little bit like you talk it that way, Marco. I think a guy like Alexander Oates, a Colt Perfetti fit on the trait like Kirby Doc and like Alex Newhook. But we're talking more about a player established in his shell for 4 years, 5 years. Have a good number also with stat, and he can put the puck in the net. And that's the reason we talk about tonight the top six forward. Now, when you everybody in the chat and you, Marco, you're talking, I'm trying to scenario other things in my head. And I could be wrong here, but remember when they trade, when they get Sikorsky, they make a big, huge trade dock for Romanov to because they knew Kaden Coley can pick up the spot of Romanov, right? Now,
Yeah.
one thing it could change everything is Dimitrov and Langstrom are out of the picture. So we have three of the four first pick as a forward. Montreal out to deal now as a forward, and not specific ranking, but Igela, Seneca, Arzerman, Katen, Elnesius. Maybe I missed one, but this is the player on that. They would be number five. Now Montreal could turn around and say, you know what? We have Ziliev now on the board, where I consider a top three and NHL pick, could be the one they can punch the left defenseman and open up now a defenseman they already have, and to trade that defenseman to the Carolina to get that forward, because now the number five changed completely the plan they was thinking to add at the beginning a forward. This is an option could happen for the Montreal Canadiens and put maybe push the team to make a big splash as a top six forward. I think that would be a direction Montreal could do. I don't know if you agree with that.
Anything's possible, coach. Like again, like, so you're right. If 3 out of the 4 picks before Montreal are forwards, then Montreal's a little bit more concerned, right? Because the next forward on their list, maybe they have them as the 7th, or they have them maybe 7th or 8th on their own list, right? We have no idea, right? But it could happen. They could have, like you said, Salayev. They could have Perek there. They could have Dickinson there. We don't know who they're valuing more than the other, right? But Ken Hughes said, ideally in order, they would like to draft a forward. And then after that, maybe a right-handed defenseman. And then after that, if it's a left-handed defenseman, he would have to be miles and miles above the other ones in terms of their own evaluation. But I get what you're saying, right? So without saying it, you're saying, okay, so if Salayev is available at number 5, and in the background, and this is what I was just saying, coach, Kent Hughes has to go into this thing with 10,000 different plans, right? Like he has to have backup plans for every situation. So he maybe will have a trade ready for Gooley. Maybe Caden Gooley, he's got a trade for insert whatever top 6 forward you want to mention. And the only way that he moves forward on that trade is if he's going to draft Salayev. Or maybe it's Lane Hudson and the Winnipeg first round pick for a top 6 forward, and he drafts Perek because now he's confident that he can still have an offensive defenseman that's going to be able to run their power play. So again, it's kind of like having, a plan for every single potential outcome that could happen. You have to have a plan for it. It would be irresponsible for you not to have a solution for any scenario that comes along as you're the GM. You can't make a mistake at number 5. You like, it's already happened before in Montreal, and it's set back the franchise, right? So in terms of Mr. Kakaniemi, so you can't have that again. So I'm very confident that they have every scenario mapped out on some whiteboard somewhere. And that's absolutely a possibility, coach. If they feel that the 4 that's available to them at number 5 is too far down their list, maybe they feel, okay, we're okay picking a defenseman here, but that means that we're ready to move this other defenseman, whether it be Gooley, Hudson, whoever, I hopefully a left-handed defenseman because again, it doesn't make sense to me to trade a right-handed defenseman unless you're going to be drafting another one. So interesting point. Anything is possible. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I know it's too late to talk about this, but we're going to bring this for the next one. We have a day off night. We can talk about Montreal again. I think I think that would be a controversy subject in the chat, you and Artap. But the ranking of your top five defensemen for the Montreal Canadiens exclude Savard, Madison. So if you have your top five, Coley, Jekai, Mayu, Rebecca, and Hudson, what would be your
Yeah,
ranking? And after
sure.
that, what
I
defenseman
can do that right
are you willing to trade to get
now. Yeah,
something in return? I think that would be a good subject at some point because I
I
think
can
it's a.
do
Go
I
ahead.
can give you my top right now if you want.
Go
I
ahead.
am happy to do it. All right. And so Patrick is going to be shocked. But to me, Caden Gooley is Montreal's number one. I'm talking in terms of value, right? So Caden Gooley to me is the number one valuable defensive piece that Montreal has.
No, I'm talking for me,
After that,
Marco,
I would say
the
it's
players for the
Weinbacher.
Montreal. I'm talking, Marco, about the players you're ranking for the Montreal Canadiens on the roster. So, who is your best defenseman all the way
Yeah.
to 1 to 5?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. To me, it's the best, and also that means that they have the most value, right? So it's kind of the same thing. So I think Caden Gooley is the one that has the most value, and he's the best defenseman. That's not like an established veteran defenseman in the NHL. After that, I would say Reinbacher is probably going to be the second best defenseman. After that, I would say Hudson would be number three. Number four, I would say is Mayu. And then number five would be Jacky. That would be my top five.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Goldie, Rebecca, Hudson, Mayu. And then you have you should trade Madison before goalie. You should trade Madison before goalie. Honestly, I trade Nicholas. I trade any of them if we got something I really like. Madison better to goalie about that. Again, the reason we don't talk about Madison inside guys because he's 29 years old. He's on established in the shell. We try to see what it would be in return. Montreal could sacrifice to get that, and the only way I will say to you, Marco, is Montreal need to select a top five defenseman for that.
Yeah, and just to answer Patrick, like, again, I've never said that I didn't think Caden Gooley was Montreal's best prospective defenseman. I'm still not sure that he's going to be a number one defenseman in the NHL, as a lot of people think, right? I think there's still some things that he needs to improve, and I'm still okay with Montreal trading him because I think that there's a lot of depth there. Now, like you said, Coach, they're happy or ready to trade Romanov because they knew they had good depth, which was Caden Gooley coming to replace Romanov. Now, I know that maybe the gap is a little bit more between, somebody like, like Jacky and Gooley. Like it's not the same caliber of defenseman for sure. But you just hope that what you're doing then is you're keeping. If you trade Gooley, it means that you're keeping Matheson for his entire term, and then after that, you're going to have to maybe backfill with another left-handed defenseman if any of the ones that you have underneath Gooley aren't able to play in the top four. Then you might have to go get a veteran defenseman at some point. But to me, it's worth if you're getting the right top six piece at this point, I think it would be worth it. But again, it's just all speculation. All speculation.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Add defense N26, goalie, Madison, Jekai, Savard, Kovacevic, Harris, everyone else, or just a prospect for that part of there. Defense, goalie, Madison, Jekai. Are you talking about only the the players inside of the lineup. So it's not like a selection there. It's just about
Yeah, we're talking,
for that one over there.
Nas, we're talking about prospects. We're not established. We're not talking about the established players like Savard and Matheson. We're saying
Yeah, yeah.
what are the top 5 defensive prospects? And by prospects, it means anybody under 23, usually, right?
Just give you an idea. People said that,
Yeah.
um, Jekai, Vitor, and I understand that. But do you think, just think about this, guys. Kaden Cooley play with Team Canada. Do you think Albert Jekai will play right now with the World Championship Team Canada?
It depends on what's available, coach. I
But right
not
now,
certainly not this.
you
Maybe
get
at some point in
you
his
get all
career.
the play right now, Marco.
Not right now. Not right
Right. So that's my
now. No,
point
no,
here.
definitely
That's
not.
my point here. So
No.
it's like they are every players they have. Rebecca, Mayu, Jekai, Hudson, Ekole. They have, for me, they are all good players. Everybody have a specific role. They are better to other one. Example, I
Yeah.
think the best quarterback power play is Hudson. Example, move the puck, shift everything like that. The best two-way defenseman is very similar is Cooley and Rebecca. In my opinion, I would still try Rebecca a little bit more offensive side at Cooley, a little bit better hands, but that's pretty much this. Mayu is a good on the offensive side for the blue line to the goal line for the Montreal Canadiens. Still have a lot of work to do on the defensive side about that.
Yeah.
Albert Jakai is more physical to any other players right there, bring a lot of, respect around everything like that. Similar to Mayu, but Mayu have a better shot, I believe, more accurate. I think he have more offensive side, Mayu over Jakai. Both of them have a lot of difficulties on defensive zone coverage, from my opinion. And do I miss one? A Rebecca now just said with Coley, and we got Owensson. So they have
Yeah.
everything I said they have. It's now the Montreal game have to figure out, okay, which one they want to keep with that Montreal long term and the next couple of years. So I think that's the way I can describe that. But at the end of the day, we're still not sure yet if one of them could be a number one defenseman in NHL. Now, some of them, Marco, can play on the first pairing as a
Yeah.
complementary.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
It makes sense. Like you have Adam Fox, but Randlingren does a good job with Fox, right? You have Devin Tays, and Devin Tays got a good job with Kel McCall. But I'm not sure, Marco, if you put Devin Tays with a specific team like Chicago Blackhawks, he's going to be a number one defenseman in NHL. It will be for the team. A bit like Mike Madison, Marco, is
Yeah.
good
I was just
defenseman,
saying.
but I don't know is
Yeah.
a real top one defenseman.
Yeah. Yeah. The way here's, and again, like, you can apply the same principle, coach, that we've talked about when it comes to the forward lines. I think we've come to accept the fact, and actually, I'm embracing this reality that Montreal is not going to be a team that has a franchise superstar elite forward where they're paying 20% of their cap to like those elite players, right? It's going to be like the Carolina Hurricanes in the sense that they're going to have a deep team, and you don't you're not a top heavy team. So you can apply the same principle to your decor, right? Like you don't necessarily have to have a defenseman that plays 28 minutes a night. Why not have 3 equal pairs that you can just turn over that are all good? They all have like a good chemistry with each other. Like you have a puck moving D with a physical D, then you have an offensive D with you have Hudson and Reinbacher. That's a really good potential chemistry there. Then you've got um, I don't know if Jacky and Mayu are the best pair moving forward. Like I don't know if they complement each other because they both are very, very physical. They're both a little bit they like taking risks. So I'm not sure I would pair those guys together, but I could see Gouli and Mayu playing together. That would be a really good pair.
I was said to add to you with Mayu, Adam
You don't think
Engstrom.
that you and like Gouli? Yeah, that could work
I
for
think that
sure.
would be a good
So if you
one
don't
there.
have Gooley there, so if you, yeah, for sure. So again, my point is that a lot of teams they build their decor with having a guy that's playing 28 minutes a night. You don't necessarily have to do it that way. Why not just have three D pairings that share more of the ice time, more so than having to rely so much? Because again, we're not going to have the type of team that has that superstar. But if you just have line after line, D pair after D pair that's coming out and all contributing to the same cause, I like that model. I think it gives you a lot more opportunity to win on a consistent basis if you don't have all of your eggs in one basket. You have your superstar gets injured, good luck. Like, you're
I
done.
think if you look
At
about this,
least when you have
Marco,
a team that's built with depth like that.
you're absolutely right about this. If you think about the team, and just think in my head is like Vegas. Vegas have a good balance of defensemen together.
Vegas.
Size, right? They don't have like a specific like
Exactly.
Victor Edmond, but they have a lot of players that play at the same level and
Yeah.
very difficult to play again. I think Tampa Bay are their best when they have a Edmond, McDonough, back to back behind them. It was
Yep.
complementary with Pocojon or Sonak at young age, or they have also the old defenseman. Jeez, I forgot he was physical too. I don't not Ben, but the other one like he was physical for them on the right D. One Bokojan left. They get someone else, and then Bokojan come back. Oh, is it Young Cole? I think it is.
Ian Cole, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then they had Luke Shen too, right? They had Luke Shen that won
Yeah.
a cup with them as well. Yeah, no, I think Vegas is a great example. Like, coach, Vegas, they lost Alec Martinez, right? And they almost didn't lose a beat. They had they had like again, if you like, I saw Real Deal Prime's comment here, like Darlene plays 29, it's 29 minutes a game. Well, so does Shabbat in Ottawa, right? It's not that we're saying that they're going to get tired, but it's more, if ever something does happen to them, then the amount of cap space that a superstar defenseman takes on your team like that, I don't know. I'm just saying that you make the most with what you have, right? Like, Montreal doesn't have an elite superstar in their lineup, which means that they're going to have a little bit more cap room to have more depth in their lineup. I kind of compare it to the Dallas Stars is a good example, right? The Dallas Stars, why are they being so successful right now? Because they just have depth all down their lineup. You can criticize Carolina, in terms of not being able to kind of take that extra step in the playoffs, and maybe it's more something to do with the type of players that they have, like maybe not enough kind of players that will go into the middle of the ice, and goaltending has been a big issue in Carolina as well. But I've always, like, for me, remember I was telling you, coach, at the beginning of the show, that I'll watch a hockey game if it's not Montreal playing, and I tend to root for teams that are built not with a superstar. I don't know why it is, but I tend to root for the team that doesn't have the superstar, that's built like a team that has four lines that are working together. I love those types of teams because every player has a role to play. It's a real team, right? And like, I know that sometimes it happens that, I think, wasn't it just last year? It was the first time with Eichel where a team won a Stanley Cup with a player that made more than $10 million on the roster, right? Um, that's to me, that's a pretty indicative stat, right? Like, it's hard to build a team when you have those kinds of players eating up so much cap space. So I
I,
think
I have a
we
definition,
definitely
Marco.
need this top six forward. Montreal definitely needs to add that.
Yeah. Go ahead, finish it. I will have something after that.
No, go ahead.
I said I have a definition about
No,
what
I
you
was just
were
gonna say,
talking.
like, balance. Okay,
Let's go. Finish it, Marco. Then I will go with my point.
it's okay. I was just gonna say that, just summarize what I was saying, is that having the balanced four lines, you can apply the same concept to your defensemen. And, I think you still need the talent to do that. Like, you can't just have four lines that are mediocre. You need to have four lines that are contributing consistently. But go ahead.
My point was exactly what you just said. What it was like, describe this that way for me, that definition. Your top players usually bring you all the way to the end, Stanley Cup, and your bottom six, right? They're going to make you to win the Stanley Cup. Does it make sense? Like, you need your top players to score goal to carry on you all the way there, and at the end is always someone like Max Shine scored a goal. He's not the top six over there. It's really the third line over there. For me, this is what I see a team go win the Stanley Cup. You're going to have the top players going to carry on you all the way there, and then at the end, as you depth, as you deep on your roster, make you to win the Stanley Cup. And every year, I'm talking, always remind the Ross Colton goal against the Montreal Canadiens, the Yannick Gord before that to eliminate the New York Islanders, and always every year they have a specific players find a way to get the really good goal at the right time, and usually they are on your third line, in my opinion. So Dallas Stars is one of the team I think it would be like this way, and it would be interesting what they're going to do. I don't want to keep you longer, Marco. I know you want to stay here until for 1 hour, and I can finish the show talking about the third round. At least if you want to stay with me for that part.
Yeah, I think my video is really lagging, Coach.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
no
think,
problem.
yeah, I think, yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Have a good
Thank
night.
you, Marco. Appreciate a lot. I will see you next time. Thanks again, my friend. It was Marco Sorry about that. I did the wrong one. It was Marco Larabi, directly from Hawkesbury, talking about the Montreal Canadiens. I think it was a good job. I think we talk about this. I want to finish, guys, about the playoff round number 3. I want to know your prediction between the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference the final conference and the NHL playoff 2024. And let's start right away with Edmonton Oilers and Dallas Star. What are your predictions? What do you think is going to win that series? Who have better chance? And what you feeling about the Edmonton Oilers to try to reach for the first time under McDavid and Trissadol to reach the final Stanley Cup? They've been together for about 8 years now. The far they've been together is the final conference 2 years ago. They have another opportunity now to knock the door. The not going to be easy. The Dallas Star, they are the favorite team right now to be the Edmonton Oilers. But I want to know what is the weakness of this fan team. I want to know the strength of this fan team. I want to know what it would be the key factors to make a specific team to win over other teams. So I'm open up there. Give me if you have any question, I'll be there for the next 24 minutes. And I want to remind you guys, when the season is over, people asking me, are you going to do more show? I will continue to deliver content during the summer. And we have a new starting clock. What you talk about? I'm going to start the show next year at 8:30 p.m. It will be over at 10 p.m. for the upcoming off-season 2024. So stay tuned. More information about that. But I would like to hear from you. What do you think about what it would be between Edmonton? Maurice Robillard back in the house. Welcome back, my friend. Nicholas also. About this, RDP, Dallas has better goaltender, 100%. Oettinger, Red Skinner. For me, the team that has the best goalie will win the Dallas. New York Rangers on my pick, Gary Conroy. He go with the goaltender. Now, if you look about the asset, Skinner versus Oettinger, all done. The defenseman, I have to go with Dallas Star. Whatever Bouchard have a great, I think Eskinen is really the next level at the same star like Ken McCall approximately. Have a great playoff so far. Carry on that team, honestly. And the forward, I will go with the others because you have Trissadle and McDavid over there. And this is the reason I believe the forward are better compared to Dallas. The depth of the Dallas is a little bit better at the others. But this is what they are between both teams, the strength and the weaknesses about the roster. If you look about the line, but again, you have to give a little bit advantage for Dallas Star. The second pairing defenseman, I believe, is maybe the best defenseman this year. It's Lendl and Danev. They are very strong. What it give a chance to the Edmonton Oilers to win for me is two keys. First, Skinner have to be, if at the end of the tournament, at the end of the series, if Edmonton win, it would be that way. Skinner have a save percentage of 905 a plus. Below that, it's over. Secondly, the power play of Edmonton have to finish approximately at 40%, 35 to 40%, to give them a chance to be the Dallas Star. Secondly, thirdly, if I want to go there, that series has to be carried on by Draisaitl and McDavid. If the Dallas shut down one of them, like the Vancouver did it, it's over. They have to produce better, and they already produce a lot, but they have to continue that way, and they need support. This is the only reason I believe Edmonton can beat the Dallas. For Dallas, we have to see the injury of Rob Hands, but also I understand they have some depth, I understand the defensemen, I understand Ottinger, but they need to have a better special team, and the PK have to elevate their game to shut down the Edmonton Oilers. That's the first thing. The second thing, they need more positivities about fan players for the Dallas Star. They would need Pavelski, Duchesne, Seguin to step up their game. We know what they can do, that enough. Dellandrea, Fasca, and the rest at the bottom. Greg Smith, Steele, right? And Robinson had to produce at the same level and maybe more to give a better chance for that. Ottinger cannot have an inconsistency like he did at the first round. Had to be back like he was at the second round. And finally, Eskinen is going to be the key for me, the key of the Dallas Star to win the playoff. Eskinen. Exactly what Ken McCall was with the Colorado Avalanche. This is the reason I believe the Dallas Star is going to win over the Edmonton. But I'm going to shock you. This series going all the way to the 7. That's what I believe is going to happening about that. We're going to see what is going to get in the chat, guys. The last time I see was Gary Cornway. Format the team. The best goalie will win. Fiber will be at the set. Modern Marco. Dallas and sick for Brad. Welcome back in the house, Brad. I believe this is the first time with us. Bradbury, thanks so much. Triple W. Yeah, Dallas, the chemistry of the team has very high play. Good hockey. Edmonton, the same. Oilers have to go to Game 7 with the Canucks team that play with the third string goalie. Peterson did not convert. Now you play again around solid Dallas team. Star and 5 Oilers are still for A2. I have Fibers, they're super fast, but maybe Madame or rather. It could be on my side, Habs Nation also. For that, Patrick, up to now team who won win a special needed battle. The bluff up to win also defeat. Others can do it for sure. Edmonton maybe drop penalties due to their speed, and Edmonton score on the power play LDP. No team who lost the special unit battle won a single series. Skinner, others need to bench Nurse. It has been terrible. Have difficulties playoff for Nurse at CC. We all agree with that part. Maurice also stronger power play. Luciano. Wally, my dog Snyder is in the house tonight. Can Edmonton stop Johnson? That's the question. I did not talk about one Johnson LDB. That's a great point about this. Need a healthy rope, hands, and a top. I cannot wait to see when there will be some goal review and the Dallas visit Edmonton series. They will call Toronto, and it will be Batman and Sorin and Dallas favor every time. Edmonton will be exposed. Skinner. Nurse definitely. Maurice. Turbo W. Edmonton will destroy Dallas. Patrick LaWhite. Rangers and Florida would be go to 7. Patrick, New York Rangers to win. Edmonton is 7.7. Dallas power play is 27. Luciano. That and Nurse ACC would put Dallas through. Roll the WWE entrance music. My heart with the New York Rangers. Now, let's move on, guys, for the second playoff series final of the Eastern Conference. Now, the New York Rangers and the Florida Panthers. This one is what I'm looking for. By the way, we're going to do the first game tomorrow night. Join me live. Game number 1 between the Rangers and the Florida Panthers. We heard a bad news today. Rand Lindgren is out at the first game, so this is not good news for the New York Rangers. Obviously, for that part over there. I mean, I scored an average of 3.83, and the Dallas 2.82 for that part. Just again, Bobrovsky. Now, the number of the Bobrovsky are a little bit lower, but it was a key factor anyway in front of the net for the Panthers. So, advantage just again over Bobrovsky for that. Number 2, defenseman. I know what Monto can do. Forsling, Ekblad. Then you have, of course, Mikela. And then you finish with Kulikov and OEL. The New York Rangers have Fox, have really bad playoff against the Canadian Hurricane. He played with some kind of injuries at some point. I think he have only 2 points and finished with -3. And now they're losing Rand Lindgren. They need Trouba and Mailer shut down the second line for the Florida Panthers. The third line, I like Schneider. You have Gustafsson. During the playoff, the Rangers modified the pairing. They tried to mix Mailer with Schneider and vice versa, Trouba, Gustafsson. Did not work. They come back at their spot. Will be interesting who is going to be with Adam Fox. Can Andrew Miller jumping there? I'm not sure. But that would be where the New York Rangers try to figure out something. Again, Florida. So I would slightly go with the Florida Panthers because of Montour and Ekblad and Forsling compared to the top 3 defensemen against the Rangers. But it's pretty even over there. Now, the forward, I think the Florida have more grits, and with Matthew Tkachuk and Bennett together, and then you have Barkov can shut down maybe Zibanejad and Panarin, Grader, and then you have, of course, the line of Trocheck versus... funny, Trocheck, guys, he was start his career with the Florida Panthers, trade to the Canadian Hurricane, signed with the Rangers, and this year he played against the Carolina and the Florida Panthers back-to-back playoff. Lafreniere is really, for me, the key for the New York Rangers. He had 1 point per game average so far. He carry on with that line. Well, not carry on that line, but he plays solid with Panarin and Trocheck. This is where I believe he could be really important. We know the power play of the Rangers, I believe, are number 2 behind the Edmonton Oilers. This is the way the Florida Panthers have to step up. The Florida Panthers have been a little bit inconsistent about the special team. They will need to become better against the New York Rangers. The final answer, guys, I know I've been with Florida Panthers for many years. I really always like the New York Rangers. We have many of you fans, Rangers, Florida in the chat. But my heart go to Florida Panthers. My head tell me the Rangers. But this is going to be in Game 8. Why you said that? 7 game and +3 overtime. That's Game 8 now. But this is going to be all the way to the end. At least you have some injuries that we don't see, we don't know yet could happen in the first year. But this is going to be really good series. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be a lot of barks. It's going to be a lot of pushing. It's going to be a lot of dirty play. And it's going to be fun as a hockey fan to watch that series. That's what I hope. And I hope it will be game number 7, both series. As hockey fans, like I said, the most fun is we reach Game 6, Game 7. Hope both of them going to be that direction. And only to the end of the game with 2-1, 3-2, 4-3, 5-4. And this is my wish for the final conference both on the NHL playoff 2024. So I would like to hear from each one of you guys. What do you think about that? On this one, can I blame without the goaltender, LDP, Panthers, and 7, Randy? Not a bad choice, guys. Like I said, This is so hard. New York Rangers 7, goaltending same, defenseman same, forward similar, special unit. New York Rangers in our tap. Abby Zilab, beginner. Nicholas, I was cheering for a replay from 94 Vancouver and Rangers. Now Edmonton is only Canadian team, so I go with them. Nicholas, great point about this. Luciano, Minnesota Dallas 27-10-0-0. All time in the playoff versus Oilers. Roy Fleder is way too physical for the New York Rangers for Roy. Can they use Rangers Matt Ramp? I'm taking Florida over Rangers Luciano. Habs Nation, Schneider is amazing. Habs Nation, this is my kind of players. I would love to be with the Montreal Canadiens. Lafreniere plays solid for triple W. Panthers 7 for A2. Ottanger 3-2-1 versus all the time. RG Calabro 8:30 Thursday night. Game 8. The winner of the East would be really hurting for final. Expect heavy hitting. I agree with you. Gritter's coming. A lot of ramp and a tap. Fleder, Roy. Ranger and 5 for Habs Nation. Let's go Abby, but and 5. Here we go. Guys, you name it. You did it. And you got everything like that. And that's it. That's all, guys. That's conclude the show tonight. We did through this. It was a very quick appearance to talking about the Montreal Canadiens top 6 and also the preview NHL. Don't forget to click on the like, subscribe, and of course follow all the videos we do every single day. Tomorrow night we are back for game number 1, the Rangers. We want to thank Marco. Sorry about that. I tried to finish this very quickly. Here we go. We want to thank Marco for his participation as a co-host. Moderator Luciano with Mr. Nartap in the house. RG Calabo, the scoreboard update. All of you click on the likes and join us tonight. We'll be back for the next couple of nights with all the playoff play-by-play. And I can't wait to see you until the next time. Don't forget the mock draft. Marco and Nartap should be out tomorrow morning. I hope so. And until then, my friend, remember,
you are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you.
Here we go, guys. I want to thank each one of you for tonight. I want to make a special thanks for Rain. Donation $100 to the Hockey Nation. Some of you give me money, not publicly, and then they send it to the channel on the other way, like PayPal or other location. And the people like Rain and other people did it, but helped the channel to move on and continue to performing every single night. So we have super chat sometimes by Larry, Rick, and many others of you. But people like Rain did it, and I just want to share with you about this. $100, guys, on that one. So great again, Rain, for that contribution. And then I want to thank everybody to be with us tonight. Don't forget to click on the likes, and of course, we want to remind you: be well, be healthy. Find a way not only to donate your day, or find a way to donate the first half of what? Your 2024. Have an amazing, great night, everybody. Sweet dream. And of course, the Hockey Nation Live Show. Want to tell you one more thing. We love you, friends. Have a good night, everybody. See you tomorrow night. Good night, everybody. Adam, you hear me? Oh. Booyah!